These former players have been charged in 2 separate indictments with conspiracy, wire fraud, and healthcare fraud for submitting fraudulent claims to the healthcare plan for expensive medical equipment that was never purchased and never received. The cases have been indicted in Lexington in the Eastern District of Kentucky. The charges we're announcing today are merely allegations, and each of the defendants is presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law. The Gene Upshaw NFL Player Health Reimbursement Account Plan, what I'll refer to as the plan throughout my remarks, provides for tax-free reimbursement of out-of-pocket medical care expenses incurred by eligible former players, their spouses, and their dependents. Once eligible players retire, they are not taxed on reimbursements from the plan so long as those reimbursements are for actual medical care expenses that they've incurred. As outlined in the indictment, a group of former players brazenly defrauded the plan by seeking reimbursement for expenses for expensive medical equipment that they never purchased. Things like hyperbaric oxygen chambers, ultrasound machines used by doctors' offices to conduct women's health exams, and even electromagnetic therapy devices designed for use on horses. As a result of the fraud, more than $3.9 million in phony claims were submitted to the plan, and the plan paid out approximately $3.4 million on those claims between mid-2017 and mid-2018. The 2 indictments involve different players, but the crimes charged were carried out in almost identical fashion. The ringleaders of the fraud recruited other eligible former players by offering to submit or assist in submitting fake claims to the plan. In exchange, the ringleaders demanded kickbacks ranging from a few $1,000s to $10,000 or more for each fraudulent claim that they submitted. If a participant agreed to this scheme, the leaders and recruiters obtained personal information from the players so that the information could be used to complete and submit a false claim form on their behalf. In each case, the forms submitted in support of the claim were completely fabricated. These included things like fake invoices from medical supply companies and forged letters and prescriptions from medical care providers. The exact size of each claim varied, but they were typically in the range of $40,000 to $50,000 each. When a defendant received his reimbursement check, he then kicked back the agreed upon amount to the ringleader or the recruiter. This process was repeated over and over and over again, placing the integrity of the plan at risk. By defrauding the plan and treating it like their own personal ATM, sadly, the defendants placed the plan's tax-exempt status at risk and threatened the ability of law-abiding former players to continue to receive tax-free reimbursements for legitimate medical expenses for themselves or their families. The fraud only stopped when Cigna, the insurance company that administers the plan, detected some of these claims, began refusing to pay them, and then referred the matter to the fraud section of the Department of Justice's Criminal Division for further investigation. I want to thank our partners who've worked hard on this case, the United States Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of Kentucky, including United States Attorney Rob Duncan, who is here with us today, the FBI, and particularly George Pirro, Special Agent in charge of FBI's Miami Field Office, as well as the supervisors and agents on the healthcare fraud squad who investigated this case, and multiple FBI field offices around the country who assisted with the investigation, and finally trial attorneys in the Criminal Division's fraud section. I do want to note that the investigation is ongoing and will continue.